It's our last night in Caravastacion, so we decided to come out and go for a little bumble around the town and explore in the other direction. Yesterday we did that super epic cool riding on that ancient fortress, so we just wanted to try out the other end and see what it looked like. And you know, the trails aren't amazing here, but there's plenty to explore if you just get on your bike and go for a little whirl. This morning we got up, had a pretty lazy morning, had a Greek coffee for the first time even though we've been here for a little while. And now it's sunset. It's a totally different day today as well. It's much sunnier, much hotter, so we thought we'd go for a little sunset lap before we leave tomorrow. Yeah, heading to Kalamata, and it's going to be marina life for a couple of days, but we need to provision properly, stock up, get water, clean the boat, make sure that we have everything that we absolutely need for a 3-day passage.
Rolling. In this episode, we're going to document our 3.5-day sail from Catania in Greece to... That's hard, motherfucker. Okay, cut.
In this episode, we're going to cover our 3.5-day passage from Kalamata in Greece to Catania in Sicily. But before we get started, we just wanted to run past the entrance into the Kalamata Marina because we got caught out by a localised storm, which was pretty gnarly. It was our first time experiencing wet weather on the boat.
Here we are coming into the marina. Check it out, it's getting gnarly in here. Woo! What do you think?
I'm thinking I just saw lightning and we're deliberately sailing into a storm, and it's black over there and it's white over there. And parking's going to be a fucking nightmare.
And the sky just kept getting darker and the wind started picking up, and you know, we were seeing birds were getting blown out in that stage.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like, it just happened in, I don't know, the space of 10 minutes. It went from beautifully sunshine weather to just this gnarly storm. We saw it building over Kalamata, and we're like 10 minutes from the marina getting in there.
Yeah, we just started our engine and put our sails away, and I go to call the marina to see if they'll give us entry, let them know we'd already booked it. We just wanted to let them know we're actually arriving so they'd have someone on the dock to catch our lines and stuff and
show us windy,
show us our anchorage.
Yeah, it got up to like 30 knots at one point, so but yeah, they said no.
Kalamata, this is sailing us with perfect freewheel. The wind seemed to have increased again, so we're going to go for another lap and wait for 10 minutes more. Okay, well, we were farther away from the storm than they were, so they were copping the brunt of it while we were still, you know, out on the water. So we did a lap, you know, did a big holding pattern, if you will, did a lap and come back again and did another lap, and then I called them again and they were like, well, maybe you should do one more lap. It's still pretty hectic in here.
Yeah, it kind of came in waves. It got really bad and then it got better, and so it was really low visibility, super foggy. I was quite nervous. I mean, we'd never experienced that as of yet during the trip. And the first time we put down the companionway hatches as well.
Closed the hatch and we're still getting water in, so I had to put the boards in as well.
And get the rain jackets out.
Yeah, put our rain jackets on, and it was wet.
I was wearing like denim overalls as well, and it was absolutely soaked.
Oh yeah.
And it's pissing down. Well, it's cleared up a little bit now, so we're gonna give it another go.
Definitely, it was wet. It was pretty gnarly, and then once we actually got in, the guys that called our lines were really surprised we were out in it, and then we found out that it was actually like a localized Medicaid.
Yeah, it was a tornado. Basically, I just looked it up a couple of days ago because I wanted to get some footage of the local news because it was a pretty crazy little storm. And I found out it was a tornado. They get them a little bit during that season. But yeah, I looked it up, so I found some news clips, so I'll pop them in here. But we're just having a wander in the town and there's a bit of devastation. We just walked past a building site and all their barriers had obviously fallen down in the wind. We got told there was ambulances and sirens going off in the town, so we're going to investigate and see what damage was done.
Πάρα πολλές οι ζημιές που έχουν παρουσιαστεί εδώ στα καταστήματα στην οδό Αθηνών. Σε αυτό εδώ το σημείο Mia lucky to Maria.
Turns out you might have been safer at sea, even though it was plenty scary on its own.
So the next day, the first thing we had to do was go for a big provision. So we got a proper big shop in a full cart and caught a taxi back to the boat, and then we got stuck into the boat work. So I had to pop up the mast to give the rigging a full inspection. Our anchor light was playing up, and just as I'd got on ropes to climb the mast, our diesel truck arrived because we'd ordered a diesel delivery. This is hilarious. I've been waiting for the fuel truck. I just jump on the ropes and the fuel truck arrives.
Yeah, and then while Jobbo was doing the boat maintenance, I was doing a spot of cleaning, just, you know.
What are you doing down there, Cheryl?
Scrubbing a toilet!
Oh, I better leave it to it in case she asks for help. Hey, up the mast, let's do it. Here's a little tiny anchor light that's giving us trouble. But if you look closely, sorry, the wind caught me there. If you look closely, it's still intact. So it's just these dirty corrosion, the dirty contacts up here. So I'm gonna give it a clean and see if it works better after clean. Hey, Cheryl, can you switch that back on, please? Thank you.
But yeah, just gave the boat a good clean. We did 3 loads of washing that day. And
Definitely,
I'm
yeah.
almost positive that was the 3rd time that we had done washing the whole season.
Definitely, yeah. It was that day was all about just kind of trying to just inspect everything, go over everything, and just kind of make sure it's the longest passage we'd attempted. And you know, we're obviously pretty nervous, so just checking the gear the best we could. You know, I'm not an expert rigger, but just going up and shaking all the rigging and looking at all the bolts and the swedges and just making sure everything is the best of my ability I could check.
We did our sort of proper passage plan, didn't we? That's what we got trained to do as RYA skippers when we did our certification.
Yeah, that was the plan. We got out our logbooks and we wrote down step by step what they recommend and went through it and punched it out.
So Captain, what's the plan?
So the plan is, we're going west. It's too greasy here.
This is the eve before our journey from Kalamata to Catania in Sicily, so we're officially leaving Greece and making our way into Italy. We're feeling like we're ready to go for a full 3-day passage, which will be no land for at least a couple of days, I think. The passage from Kalamata to Catania is going to be 352 nautical miles, and the winds are looking really favourable for the next 3 days. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we're looking like we're mainly getting northerlies. Is that correct?
Northwesterlies.
Northwesterly. So northerlies, northwesterly. So we're going to be close hauled or on the beam. So it's going to be a pretty fast point of sail for us. Just the only risk is obviously losing navigational instruments, and
Yeah.
you know, because we were primarily going off Navionics. So we had it downloaded on 2 different devices, plus the chart plotter on the boat, plus we knew our heading. So worst case scenario was
Just stick to the heading.
we could just stick to a heading, and we're gonna hit some kind of land eventually. Yep.
We'll see you on Sunday.
Ready to head to Italy. It'll be my first time. Buongiorno. That next morning, we had to check out, and so I went on my own to the port police.
Oh, I don't know why that's so stressful. It's just one of those things where you're standing in there, no one speaks English, none of them speak Greek, and they're all got guns and lots of paperwork and stamping lots of stuff, but you stand there just sweating like you're in trouble. It's like you've been put in front of the headmaster. So funny.
And I ended up, we did the runaround. I walked like 6-10 kilometers that day, trying to get here to there. We just wanted to leave. We were desperate to leave.
Fuck, checking out's a pest. I fucking hate it. Really hate it.
I didn't know all that before I got back to the boat, so it was funny reconvening before we left and figuring out what had happened. Well, Luke is back.
Oh, I've been everywhere, man. I'm very ready to leave. Very ready. Let's drop lines and get out of here, and we did. And then the wind died, and then it picked back up in a big way as
Yeah, it got super sporty
As
all
we
of a
rounded.
sudden. Are you enjoying the spotting conditions, young sir?
Yes, it's quite sporty indeed. The sport is on. We just got 25 knots. It's really dumping off the back of this hill.
just as we rounded the point, the wind was just funneling off the top, and we'll close hold at that stage, and we're just trying to dodge this other island, and it was too tight to tack through this little spot, and I didn't want to have to go around because it would have delayed us a long time. So I'm just really pinching the boat the whole way for like an hour and a half. It was a long time. It was windy, and we'd taken reeds, and we're hammering. It was some fun sailing. And then I think Cheryl looked back and saw we were trawling at the stage.
Oh, it's a tuna!
And we'd caught a fish, our first fish on board.
We killed him quick and we fired him up, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a nice little supper for that first night. I'd never cut one up before either, and we didn't have internet. So I did my best, and I guess it worked out.
Yeah, and then I just decided to fry it up with a little bit of, I think I did it with lime and ginger and garlic and soy. And yeah, it was super tasty. We just kind of flash fried it.
So here it is. Cheryl just knocked it up as a little appetizer for us. Only caught it an hour ago. Let's taste this tuna. You can taste how fresh it is.
And that put us into night one,
Yeah.
where the wind ended up dead ahead. So we cleared that bottom point, made our right-hand turn, and now we're just beaten. There was a few waves, and it was a pretty rocky entry into that first night. As the sun set, we're still just bashing through these waves.
Sun has gone down and we're just chilling out in the cockpit. Who's going to do the first shift?
We've not discussed.
I think we'll see how tired we both are and play it that way.
I was thinking I'll do 1 hour on and then you do like 9 hours on. Just so I can get a good night's sleep.
I'll just jump overboard and leave you to it.
Oh, thank you. I'm just finishing up my shift now. It's just gone 6 in the morning. The sea state is finally flattened out. I had a little engine problem. I don't think our engine really likes motor sailing on a lean. I think I coughed up some air anyway. So we cut the engine and we just kind of drifted at like 3 to 4 knots overnight. And now the wind's just filled in a little bit. We're back to 5 knots on smooth seas. The moon's just risen behind and it's going to be a beautiful day. And I've got to bed. 270 nautical miles to go.
Good morning. Well, I came on shift about half an hour ago. It's about 7 in the morning now. Beautiful sunrise. Yeah, I was having a little moment last night when I went to bed. I was pretty tired and kind of forgot my earplugs and my pillow, and did that thing where you go to bed and you're like, oh, earplugs, and then got out, got my earplugs, got back to bed. It's like, oh, I forgot my pillow. I was just getting a little ragey. And then as I lay down for the last time, I walloped the back of my head on the fiberglass in the spare bedroom, and then had a little girl cry to sleep, which was pretty comical. Anyway, the rage continued when I woke up after my 3-hour sleep, and everything was just going wrong. Tried to heat up some water for a cup of tea, and the gas bottle had run out, and I was just super disorientated, so it was just getting on my rag. And then when I came and sorted that out, Jobbo helped me. I went to the pot and there was a piece of garlic in the pot, so the water was like garlic water. Anyway, chucked that out, sorted it out, got my cup of tea, set up the GoPro for a little hyperlapse of the sunrise, and feeling a lot calmer. I guess it's to be expected with the first night of the passage. I get a little bit tense or a little bit anxious, especially when it's nighttime. Sea state's a lot more pleasant this morning. We're doing about 11 knots close hauled, getting about 4 knots boat speed. So we'll be trundling along today until Jobbo gets up. Okay, well, we'll see you later. Yeah, and then after we both kind of came to, you got off your last night shift, things got rather sporty again, didn't they? We got a lot more wind, bigger waves. Hello.
close hauled, you know, the boats on the lean, and you know, I go down below to try and cook dinner.
Oh yeah, flipping onions. He doesn't flip his onions like that when the camera's not on him.
What camera?
Yeah, so I head down to the galley and start cooking, and you know, I'm halfway through, the stove's on, the boat's cranked over, and I'm just like, whoa. First time all season, I'm like, whoa, I'm starting to get seasick. So I'm like trying to cook for a little bit down below and then stand in the companionway, like, take some breaths in, look at the horizon, and go back, jump back in, and you know, it was hilarious. I got dinner cooked, but then I felt ill for the next 3 hours, so I couldn't eat. Yeah, like once you get those seasick feels and
It's hard to get
you're
rid of
out to
now.
sea, you're just like, wow, you just kind of stuck with it for a while. So I'm just gnawing on ginger, drinking a lot of water, and you know, eventually I come good, which was nice.
We were on a lean pretty hard that day.
Yeah, we were cranked over all day, like hitting waves, and you know, not ideal point of sail.
So the sun just set on night 2 of our passage to Italy. And we just took a second reef in our main before it gets dark, because the waves are just starting to build a little bit and it's still quite windy, and we're making good speed, so we don't need all that sail out. And then we've still got most of Mel Gibson out, but he's easy to pull in later. So we're just nestling in, ready for a rolling night at sea.
Officially crossed the Greece-Italy line.
Yep. So somewhere way out in the middle there's a dotted line on the map that you cross. I remember
the official line.
I still have a screen grab on my phone.
And you put up the customs flag.
That's right, I pulled down our Greek flag.
Oh, wait, Greece, come back!
Oh, well done.
Put up the yellow Q flag for preparation of our arrival. It's funny. It's like you see other sailors making a big deal out of hoisting their Q flag, but when you're sailing internationally, it's like one of the pivotal moments where you just like hoist a new flag, take a flag. I don't know. There's something so. It's such a ceremony. It's so fun. We love to make a deal out of it and film it, and it's cool.
After we crossed the line, we made a bet. Alright, so we have 105 nautical miles to go.
And there's no land anywhere, so we made the bet. How many nautical miles from our destination would we see landfall? Like the old land ho call.
Yeah, we'll let you see that now.
I'll say 55.
I was going to say 55.
It's just 60's too far.
Right, so what's your number then?
50!
50! So we're going to go with 49. And then what's the reward? Whoever wins gets treated like a princess for the day.
Super!
Alright folks, you heard it here first. I'm gonna win by a nautical mile.
So there it is. What's hopefully going to be our last sunset at sea. Our 3rd night crossing the Ionian here. Last night was super rolly, night 2. Now coming into night 3, conditions are meant to be quite calm, but hopefully the wind swings around a little bit and we can sail and get the engine off, because it's so much nicer sleeping on board with the engine off. It's so loud. But it's been great. It's been harder than we expected, and some bits are easier, but with 2 people on watch, it's really tough. Only getting a 3-hour window to sleep is pretty hardcore. It catches up on you. So we're gonna be pretty excited to get to Italy and hang out and get some rest. But it is very nice out here. It has been a great trip.
It's the 15th of April here in Canada, and we purchased a Corona lockdown project.
Yeah, this is Giuseppe the step van. The plan is we're going to finish up with our sailing edits from last October, and then this summer is just going to be filled with our land yacht van conversion. Keep the adventures going.
Just gonna be a beast.
Chin chin! Chin chin!
Roll it all up in a fresh tortilla.
I don't want you to talk, I just want you to sail.
Oh, just sail. Shut up and sail.
Shut up and sail.
What do you think of our new house though? It's pretty fucking fancy, eh? Built for speed, mate. Full alloy. It's a fucking race truck.
Arrivederci. This one has wee horns. Hello.
None of this is probably going to make the cut because this is bathroom shacked.